For anybody out there that doesn't know you, why don't you do a little introduction to yourself?
Sure. Hi, everyone. My name's DJ. Hi.
But elaborate on that a little of who you are.
My name's DJ. I'm a Capricorn. I enjoy long walks on the beach.
Not that kind of.
This is amazing. This is amazing. My name is DJ. I run the Temple Music Academy, and I play guitar in the band Without Mercy, and our new record's coming soon, so watch me as I whore myself out equivalently.
November 20th, to be precise.
Oh, buddy, I'm so jacked.
Yeah, I know. And it comes out on Blood Blast, which is an offshoot of Nuclear Blast, correct?
Yeah, so holy crap.
Right? I was so stoked for you guys when I heard the news.
Oh, thanks, man. We've known each other for a while, so it's cool to see you're still crushing it with this thing, man. That's neat.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, and I like to just support local talent, too, right?
Yeah, or even just the local guys like me. That doesn't have to be talented. They're just local.
Or loco.
Yeah, that's true.
So speaking of the album, we'll start off with that.
Yeah.
I gotta ask you, first shot off. How the heck did you get Jeff Loomis to cut on the first track? How did you get Jeff Loomis?
Well, that's when you stalk someone long enough.
Oh, it was that awkward?
I wasn't awkward about it. I was just like, "Hi, I know you're showering, but hey, let me just grab this soap for you." Jeff's been a friend of mine for a couple of years, and he's an absolute sweetheart of a human being. So when the opportunity came up, I asked him. I was like, "Dude, I would love, what do you think?" And he was super receptive to the idea, and he actually chose the Thunderbird track because we sent him two to choose between. I was like, "I'm thinking this one. What do you think?" And he really loved Thunderbird and came at it with, "Hey, I've got an idea. Can I try something?" So that's basically how that came.
And how can you say no to that?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the thing about Jeff is one, obviously he's a competent professional. I mean, that just goes without saying. That's like saying water is wet. Like, come on, guys. Of course, the dude is a killer guitar player and knows his way around the fretboard like a son of a bitch. But I've always respected Jeff's creativity for years. And what he was able to, I mean, the son of a bitch inspired me to play a 7-string, for God's sake. So, I knew he would do something wicked. So, yeah, he chose was stacked. I just still can't believe he's even on the record, to be honest with you.
Well, what a great way to start out the album.
Yeah. And then dickheads like us, we don't even let that be a single. We make you wait for it.
But you don't. If they buy the album, they can hear it first off. Then they got to wait for the singles, you know.
This is true. So, yeah, buy the album, everyone.
Props, right? Because a lot of people would leave that until the end, you know, almost like a bonus track, you know.
Right. No, we're right off into it, man. It was the way that we structured the track listing this time was, sorry, coughed in there. The way that we structured the track listing was that way. We had spoken as a band a bunch and been like, "Oh shit, this was going to be the second track before. It should probably be the third one now." And then when lyrics came to play, Alex was telling a story and how some songs bled into other songs because it was part of the genesis of the story he was telling. So in an essence, it's kind of like an indirect concept album. So it just worked out that way.
Okay. Well, that's all right too.
Yeah.
In your wacky little introduction of yourself, you do teach guitar at your own music academy, Temple Music Academy.
Yeah, dude, we opened the Temple Music Academy. I was originally teaching out of my house.
I know.
For years actually, quite a while. And I had gone through the Long and McQuaid's and all the other businesses and stuff, and I really just wanted to work for myself at the end of the day. And then it got too big that I had to open a brick and mortar location, and now we have 6 staff members and over 100 students, and It's just unreal to come to work every day and either do this, or part of my other job is I get to hang with dudes like you and talk about the other music that I'm writing. It's like, there's worse lives to have. There's worse lives to have.
Well, yeah, and you're killing it on YouTube too. How many subscribers have you got now?
I don't know.
Okay.
Don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's quite a few, I hope. It validates my insecurities. Thanks, everyone.
Okay, well, getting back to how did you get Chris Broderick on the album?
Kind of the similar answer in a way. Like, Chris Broderick's been a friend of mine for even longer. And he's really a mentor. I ask him a lot of industry questions, and I ask him a lot of guitar questions and theory questions. And he asks me a lot of good look questions, which is important because I'm quite handsome and modest. So it's
very and humble.
Yes, exactly. But Chris is the one that honestly, his solo. No one this is a weird story for you. So when Chris did the solo and stuff, and he sent it to us, it's basically unmixed, right? And then you get it mixed in with your track when it's all said and done. And I hadn't told the guys yet. I straight hadn't told them. At this point, they didn't know Loomis was on the record. They didn't know Broderick was on the record. I totally kept it from them. And when Broderick's solo, I'll never forget this. We're listening back to the masters, listening if we want to tweak anything in the mixes. And Broderick's solo comes in, and everybody in the room that was sitting there, they just kind of sat back in the chair, and they're like, yeah. Because Broderick, he takes you somewhere, man. Like, I don't want to be super cliche, but he's legit telling a story with his lead. It's amazing. Yeah. Absolutely amazing. He did that song so much justice with his lead that, dude, I still don't even understand. Like, it was... And it's not what you're expecting. You're expecting, Chris Broderick's going to be blistering this and
I know
9-finger reverse cowgirl tapping or something. I don't know.
It kind of goes off and does its own little thing there for a bit.
And then he added layered harmonies, and he just man. And that was the same. He had texted me and said, "Are you cool if I go a weird direction with this?" It's kind of the motif I'm going. I'm like, "Yeah, dude. I mean, do you? You're fucking Chris Broderick. Like, come on.
You have to ask that question.
I assume you'll know what notes to play. Like, come on. Like, but he's one of the most genuinely honest and nicest people there is. Honestly, he's such an amazing human being, and then he laid down a track like that, and yeah, it's just dumbfounding to me.
Well, it's no doubt that having these two fine, well-versed guitarists on the album, did that help sell the album to Blood Blast? Or was it just they didn't know about, or was the record signing before the album was actually finished?
Yes, so let me just scan in my head how much of I'm allowed to answer because of the NDA. Let me just scan.
Oh, okay. We can admit that then. Well, we don't have to worry about that.
Well, I mean, I assume. Well, just answer honestly. You and I are bros, so I need to answer honestly. I mean, like, the honest thing is I assume on some level it possibly helped, and I assume on some level it's hopefully going to help us push a couple of units and sell it because it helps like pay rent and stuff. But the honest to God answer is I really just wanted to make an album with my friends. I really just wanted to.
Well, and your band is already your brothers, right?
100%.
You've been with them for so long now.
Especially Healy, our drummer, he's been with me since pretty much day one.
Yeah.
And like, it's important for them to see this too, because like we've been working at this so long. We actually rewrote the album 3 times. We would write the album, we'd go tour it, we'd come back and be like, wow, that song sucks, huh? And then we just shatter the song and rework it. And we have giant whiteboards. I'm in our band space right now. We have giant whiteboards here where songs were completely destructed and reconstructed and fractioned out and figured out, and parts were methodically looked at, and then everything from like every verse to every chord, every to every out to every song that leads into everything else in our set list before we ever talked about the album. we really sat back and just wrote this for us selfishly. What did we want to put on a record? And then it started becoming like, I'm writing this killer stuff with like Ryan, our bass player, is one of my best friends. He's a fucking awesome bass player. And he's a theory guy like me, so we got to nerd out over a bunch of theory ideas. And our drummer Healy is sick at what he does, and he interprets what we say and adds his own spin. Alex is a killer vocalist, man. So he throws his vocal ideas down. His process is a little different than the three of us because he's a singer. So like singers are weird, but and then to add Broderick and Loomis on it and just really develop our friendships that much further, and to see them be a part of the project and really excited about the project. Like Jeff is such a cool guy, because like you would assume you get someone to do a guest feature and then they're out of your life. But Jeff texts me all the time. He's like, hey man, what's going on with the release? Is it true you got a Nuclear Blast? Good for you, blah, blah, blah. And it's just super cool. And then Blood Blast, if I can just gush about them for a second.
Yeah, of course.
Like that's like a super, I don't know, man. Like we got, I think we stopped counting at 50 rejections when we started shopping the record. Oh. And some were harsh than others. Some were like, you guys have a shitty guitar player. Others were like, we have issues with your tightness as a band, or your songs don't make sense, and like, you could have just said no, you know? Like, You could have just said no. And we don't really subscribe to that cliquey douchebaggery thing that exists in live music. That's why we kind of like do our own thing. And when Vegas was being weird, kind of went on the road and started touring back east more, and vice versa. Like, it was just, we just want to play music. Yeah. So Blood Blast came around, and Blood Blast came from Nuclear Blast had said something about Blood Blast is going to be a thing. They're going to do this just everything. So in essence, boiling it down, all these people, and semi-bigger labels too, not just like, Joe's recordlabel.com or whatever. Right. Like all these ones were just shitting on us, and like they weren't into it, and it was like shitty. Many of them many of them were like not for us, and that's cool. That's nice. But like, we're feeling pretty down because we put everything we had into this fucking record, man. Yeah. Everything. Like, it was everything. And
you can hear it. You can hear it in the album. I think you can hear it in the album. I think it's so. Personally, as somebody who's known you and heard and seen the band live, I think personally, you guys sound tighter than you've ever sounded. And the diversity of, like, for instance, Abysmal.
Yeah.
326, it just stops, and then you do a totally different chord tempo, and it slows right down, almost like a bluesy kind of track. And it's like, dude, like, you guys are really showing your versatility on this album, I think.
I appreciate it, because that's one of the things these other labels hated. And we were like, I don't care. Like, first you talk a big game, because you're like, I don't care. Metal caveman.
But at the end of the day, yeah,
it hurts. Yeah. I'm not gonna lie. You're like, but I thought we did a good job. We spent all this money we barely had, and then all of our emotions and our everything we had into this bloody thing, and you're telling me it sucks. And then out of nowhere, the biggest heavy metal label in the fucking world basically says, let's give these guys a shot. They seem pretty hungry. And like, that alone. And then you expect, like, you sign the record deal, like with Blood Blast or whatever. We signed the record deal. We expect that they would just, like, ask us for money or demand things. Instead, I'm getting fucking emails from the heads of the divisions and the ARs going, hey, how's everybody doing? Hope you're cool. COVID's kind of messed everybody up. Are you guys okay? You're not asking me for anything. They're genuinely wondering, am I okay? Is my family okay? Are my bandmates okay? Is everybody healthy? Does anybody need anything?
That's who you want to work with.
100%, man. So on the back of making this album with all my friends, Dad and Chris Broderick and Loomis, who became even better friends of mine, and now we got a record label that's basically like hugging us because they're all like, oh, you guys, it's at this point, like, I'm such a happy ginger at this point.
But you always are. You always have been.
I try. I have my moments.
Yeah. But it's almost like it's definitely the icing on the cake for sure.
100%, man. It's so awesome.
Who says you can't have your cake and eat it too, right?
My trainer.
Fair enough. Yeah, the album's called Seismic. It's got a great cover. I was sent it digitally from John Asher.
Oh, I got you. Yeah.
I don't have a physical copy of it, but
I'll hook a brother up. You know. Okay. I'll hook a brother up.
All right.
Yeah, I want to talk about that artwork because again, like, we had such a hell of a time getting the artwork done. So many artists, like, obviously for legal reasons you can't say who, although you know me, I really want to tell you who. Just took our money and fucked off. They never did anything. We couldn't get a refund. It was unreal how many artists did that to us. And we were already super stressed because at this point we had signed with Blood Blast and they were just waiting for the final album cover so that they could actually start the back end shit that they had to do, because there's a whole science to it. The pros, I'll leave that to them. And out of nowhere, my buddy Braden, who, if you guys look up my Music Academy, we have a bunch of murals and like llamas everywhere and shit like that. And my buddy Braden S-House, I can never say it. It's a Danish last name. He had done all our murals and stuff. And I called him at like 11 o'clock at night once and was like, dude, I am screwed. And he showed up. He's like, what's wrong? And he brought a sketch pad. He's like, what's wrong? Like, something wrong with the murals or whatever. And I told him the story. I'm like, we don't have an album cover. I've spent all of this money. And like, it wasn't a little bit of money. Like, it was like $3,000 totaled up. So I'm like, I don't know what the hell.
They just skipped town.
100%. Like, emails don't work anymore, or they just ignore the email, or they took the deposit. And I'm still waiting for sketches back. Technically. Which is unbelievable. And Braden's like, okay, tell me. And I just started talking to Braden. And he listened. And what he interpreted I was saying, which was, my message was like, all of us as a band had discussed the idea we wanted. And Alex was super into the album cover because obviously it represents a lot of lyrical content for him. Taking all of our ideas, culminated, explaining it to this guy. And he's like, okay, 3 days later, boom, we get back what you see now as the album cover. Braden is a beast, and that son of a bitch I hope don't get rich, because I'm going to buy him a house.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome for sure.
Saved the day. 100% he saved the day.
Oh, for sure. Because if you don't have an album cover, you got nothing to sell.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
It's like a book without a cover. It's like, what's the point?
Yeah, it's like sex without the woman. Like, what?
Let's not go there. The video for Disinfect the Soul is intense. I actually watched one of your buddies last night. He was doing a reaction video. He's a martial arts instructor from Abbotsford as well.
Right, yeah.
And the guy's like crapping his pants. He's turning it off and he's like, oh my God. Because he says he doesn't normally listen to this kind of music. And I'm like, I'm laughing. I'm just like, dude, this is what they play, you know?
Yeah, poor son of a bitch.
He tortured himself because all of his other videos are all about martial arts, right?
Yeah.
But he actually watched Disinfect the Soul, and he said, oh, DJ told me there's a scene when it turns white and then there's subtitles that come up. And he was like, at the end of it all, he was like, I just don't know what to say.
Yeah, that's my buddy Max. He runs the Burge Kickboxing Academy. He's working hard at that, so props to him. And he doesn't listen to metal.
No,
so
he said that at the start of the video.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. I saw that too. He did a great job on it.
I had this through my whole life, and I just had somebody ask me this last week. The misconception of people that listen to metal. Everybody goes, oh, you're such a nice guy. I can't believe you listen to heavy metal. It's such angry music. And it's like, there's such a misconception. Like, you have to be a mass murderer or something to like metal, or, you know, like, you can't be a nice person and listen to metal, you know? What's your thoughts on that?
I run into it every day. I mean, I opened a music academy with the title Extreme Music Lessons. I opened it into a predominantly religious town. I think we have more churches per capita than anyone. I used to have the joke, you can't swing a dead hooker in this town without hitting church.
Sure, that went over well.
Oh, it's amazing. It's amazing. But I don't know, man. I think it's you're right on the misconception, 100%. And I think people just it's not the norm. It's starting to become the norm now. Like, I'll never forget some of the things, like here on our Spotify playlist, we play the music that all of us like. We're not catering to the public.
Yeah.
We're not catering to the public. So what we're doing is like, I was talking to this like 65-year-old woman that wanted to start drum lessons. It was her life goal. Now she's retired. She's like, my golden years, I want to do whatever I want. I'm telling her about our drum program, telling her about Healy and how she'll have fun, to offer a free lesson, try it out, whatever. And the whole time this transaction is going on, New Millennium Side Night Christ is playing with By Meshuggah over the speakers as I'm talking to her. And then it just switches when it's done into Forced Gender Reassignment by Cattle Decapitation.
Oh, nice.
And she's like, well, what's this? I'm like, oh, this is Cattle Decapitation, as I'm wearing a Cattle Decapitation shirt. I'm like, yeah, this is a really good band. They're from like somewhere in California, I think I said to her. I'm like, it's the first grind band I kind of ever got into. They're pretty great. She's like, okay. But like, they just accept it because we accept it. And
yeah.
We've all seen the stuff. We've all seen the D. Snyder thing where he talked to Congress or whatever. We've all seen like the classic levels of death metal and crazy black metal and all these guys that are super educated. It's just the style of music we like, guys. There's no preconceived notion. No. I mean, I love it. I love the brutal stuff, and I know you love the brutal stuff. And I'll bet you dollars to donuts we like it for different reasons.
Yeah.
That's fine. Plus, let's not forget that Wicked documentary that came out that showed all of us are basically a giant brotherhood. And
Metal Headbangers Journey.
Hell yeah, buddy. I mean, I met you like 11 years ago?
Yep.
Yeah, and when you come up on my schedule from our publicist message me, I'm like, oh, hell yeah, T-Rod's still rolling? I was stoked, and I get back like, T-Rod? I'm like, oh, it's T-Money, brah. It's T-Money. You tell him. If it ain't no nipples, DJ no playing. And he's like, what the hell? Anthony will laugh. It's the thing we do.
That's right.
I mean, I don't know, man. We're all here to do the same thing. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, I know. It's just, and like you have other music that you like to listen to as well. It's not just metal 24/7, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Go ahead.
100%. But I think the real difference amongst like the metalheads guys that I know and like guys like you and stuff like that is if there is another band or another genre, we're not offended by it, and we're certainly not ashamed by it. No. Like I sit there with pride and say Garth Brooks is one of the best entertainers of the last 30 years. Haters gonna hate. That son of a bitch is amazing.
Yep. I saw him open it was the Pirates of the Penzaz, or Pirates of the Mississippi, Garth Brooks, and then it was the Judds. It was their final tour. And Garth Brooks entertained the whole entire crowd more than anybody.
Yeah, he's a beast. And there's something to be said about like walking into a room and going, blame it, and everybody else knows the rest of the words. There's something to be said about that. 150 million %.
Yeah.
150 million %.
So talk about your first love for music, and when did you want to pick up the guitar, and why? Who inspired DJ to pick up the guitar?
Oh, you're gonna love this story because it's so pathetic at first. Plot twist: it doesn't get any better at the end. I started playing guitar because I thought it would help me get popular with the ladies. It's probably in grade 8. I don't know how old you are, 13 or something, grade 8, 14?
Yeah.
Thought it'd help me with the ladies. Doesn't help a skinny ginger kid. Doesn't help.
They're still going to pick on you.
Yeah, I would sit on the bench at school because my school had benches around like common areas or whatever. And I was given a classical guitar and I was trying to play power chords on it, but I couldn't play to save my fucking life. And I remember like trying to learn Monkey Wrench by Foo Fighters, going like I'm awesome, girls, and they're like, what the hell? Who are you? You know,
Stay
good
away from me.
good life lesson, people. If you're playing guitar to pick up women, it doesn't help if you walk over to the woman while playing and they didn't ask you to come over there. I would just like walk over and like horribly play something like, "Hey girls, flank, plink, clank, plink, clank, clank." Yeah, you're impressed. Clank, clank, plink, clank, clank. It's not okay, man.
You're not serenading them. Yeah, for sure.
There was this Japanese guy. His name was Masa, and he would come to school every day the same path, and he always knew I was on that bench. I was on the same bench every day, and he was really good at guitar. And he started showing me riffs every day. It was like my first ever guitar teacher. Every day he'd show me a riff or something, and I would try and learn it and come back, and then he'd show me again. And I'd try and learn and come back. And we actually started a shitty little band together where I was trying to play drums, which is the most pathetic thing you've ever seen in your life. And and
hence why you stuck to guitar.
Yeah, and I was in love with double bass. I thought double bass was the coolest shit ever. And he played me. I was in love with this Korn song called "Faggot." Amazing song, great song off their self-titled record, and it had this one little double kick burst, and I thought it was really cool. And he's like, "Oh, you like double bass?" And he went in his room, and he came out. I remember this like it was nothing. He went in his room, and he came out with this blue CD, and he put on track 3, and it ended up being "Becoming" by Pantera.
Oh.
Off of Far Beyond Driven.
Yeah.
Which, if anybody doesn't know, you need to get your head examined. But also, go listen to that track, because that double bass pattern is nuts. Nuts. And at first I was a little pissed off because I felt like he one-upped me a little bit. So I was a little annoyed. But then second, I was just in love with Pantera. And then I like Dimebag Darrell. I quit drums. That was it. Now I'm playing guitar every day. I'm trying to play like Dimebag. That album was insane. I knew that album front to back, note for note, lyric for lyric. I knew everything in that bloody record. And even now, if you come to the Academy, the first thing you see when you open the door is a giant, like 20, like freaking inch or whatever it is, thing of Dimebag. It's the first thing you see. You open our door before you even see our logo. It's a big picture of Dime doing the thing. Dimebag Darrell's the shit for me, man. I clicked into the Matrix here in Pantera, that's my shit.
Well, he had riffs that killed. Even when he did that offset. Just when Pantera kind of broke up,
right?
And he went. I forget the name of the band, but he went and did that other band.
Damage.
And he was doing Damage Plan, and you did that song when it was about a train, and he had the guitar sounding like almost like the train was going, like the train was. He was incredible.
It was even the shit he did with David Allan Coe. It was like called Rebel Meets Rebel.
Yeah.
And even that, he had like dirty Southern blues country.
Yeah,
rock.
I know.
Like the son of a bitch could play guitar, man, and he had groove and feel for days.
Yep.
That's
what people don't appreciate is they don't appreciate that a lot of these guitarists, a lot of the drummers and stuff, they're a lot of them are classically trained.
Yeah. Yeah, we're kind of in an era of like everyone's looking for the next big thing. So everyone wants to see the showboaty person or something like that. I mean, like even with drumming too, like talking to our drummer all the time, he's like, everybody's just blast beating faster than everybody else. But whatever happened to like Meshuggah style rudiments and shit like that? Whatever happened to like super complex polyrhythms? Like,
or just keeping time.
Just keeping time. Like groove's a thing, man. That's a big thing.
Shuffle groove is not appreciated like it should be. So and so you got Dimebag, and then who else was some of your?
I mean, Dimebag led me to Zakk Wylde, and led me to Judas Priest, and led me to all that stuff, which inevitably led me to Nevermore, and that's how I discovered Jeff Loomis, and then I upgraded to a 7-string, and then I just became super obsessed with Nevermore. But I'm also kind of stupid. Like when I got into Nevermore, Broderick was playing with them at the time. So I thought Broderick was the other guitar player in Nevermore. I didn't realize he was just a touring dude. So I was like, Broderick and Loomis? Holy shit, man. It was insane. And then and even now I'm super into like Paul Gilbert and Yngwie and Tosin Abasi and Loomis is still putting out killer content. Even the stuff he does in Arch Enemy is just killer. So I'm obsessed by all those guys, man.
Yeah, there's some good players out there still. We of course lost Eddie Van Halen not too.
That's pretty rough. That's pretty rough.
Why did you, getting back to disinfect the soul? Why did you guys decide to go with a lyric video? Is it because it's just so fast and so brutal? You guys wanted people to understand what he was singing?
Yeah, it was more. We were trying to tell a story, right? That was the big thing. That was the big thing. So we were trying to tell a story, and we wanted to shoot a music video, and we thought that idea hadn't really ever been done. So we wanted to be original, and we teamed up with a great company called City Zero. They're based out of Vancouver, and they shot the stuff for us, and they actually did all of our videos, which is rad.
Nice.
And they were cool. They were receptive to the idea. They didn't get it at first, but the one of the dudes is like one of the head dudes. His name's Danny. He gets my craziness and he gets my psychotic ideas, and so yeah, that helped. That helped a lot.
Well, yeah, because it's a pretty intense video. Like when he's beating his chest like a wild man, it's like, wow, he just looks like he wants to kill someone.
Well, I think the other thing, like, not to put words in his mouth, but I think, like, for Alex, too, as a vocalist, you're generally concerned that people aren't going to get your story, and you want to get your story across. And we're constantly working with Alex on stuff like that. We're like, hey, man, what are you trying to say here? What are you trying to convey? Let's get this message. And it had been done, us standing in a room with flashing lights playing the song. Okay, it's been done. And we're trying to, like, COVID was a thing, so we had the extra time to sit there and think. And this was the idea that came out. And Alex actually throws an Easter egg in. We're still waiting for somebody to find it. There's a secret Easter egg in that video. And it turned out. Like, it really turned out. City Zero captured the idea we were looking for. And from there, it built into this whole thing. And the intensity is true. Like, a lot of people, they get to the end of the song and you don't realize it's been 7 minutes.
I know.
And that was our point, because the other way is horrible. You're like, 3 minutes to go, huh? Okay. Like, that's the thing. And we wanted it, like, we're trying to tell a story with every single song, instrumentally as well. Alex's lyrical content aside, which everybody, though, you should try your best to read the lyrics, because what he's written is profound, in my opinion. Profound.
Yeah, I was listening to the album earlier, and actually in the press kit, there's actually the lyrics are accompanied with the press kit. So yeah, I was following along, and they're pretty deep.
There's some stuff in there, man. Buddy's got issues.
So how do you guys form your songs? Is it you're all in on it together, or are you the sole writer for the music and Alex is the one for the lyrics, or how do you guys work that out? As you mentioned, you had the whiteboards in the band room. You guys kind of orchestrated that. You'd mentioned that earlier, but
yeah, like, basically what happens is it spawns from an idea, and anyone in the band could have an idea. Like, for example, we have that song Wendigo on the record, which has a cool Ojibwe language thing that starts the song off. That song was spawned from Alex actually came to rehearsal years ago. That song's like 2, maybe 3 years old. But he came with his native drum. He's like, I have this rhythm. Ba-da-da-da-ba-da. And he played this rhythm. Matt interpreted the rhythm. I started listening to it. Alex started explaining his idea and what he wanted to hear. And the idea spawned into this entire thing. Now, granted, at the end of the day when the song's all written, that part is like 8 seconds long in a 5-minute song or whatever. But it started with the idea. So the idea spawns the conversation, and all of us kind of trust and respect each other enough that we've been doing this together for so long, and we all have the same end goal in mind, that, okay, let's just hear you out. As much as this idea annoys me, or I don't like it on the get-go, or I don't like the presentation, I'm going to try it anyway and see what happens. Eventually what happens is we get a skeleton done up of, like, how many verses and choruses there will be and how many repeats. Is there a solo? Is there not a solo? Whatever. And when that's all done, Alex will introduce lyric ideas. And usually at that point, when he starts introducing, like, vocal patterns or lyrics or whatever, sometimes the skeleton has to be redeveloped or remodeled. And that's why the album was rewritten so many times. Like, we started writing this record back in 2017. We had dropped Moichido, and Moich came, and we were already knee deep in writing this one and touring it and touring the Moichido material. We were going across Canada. I think we played like 28 shows in 30 something days. We crushed a tour out. We were insane. And we're like talking about these songs, essentially writing them verbally with each other as we're driving to the next town or critiquing or constantly. And again, it all spawns from an idea that creates the skeleton, creates the jam scenario, creates everybody inserting their opinions. We record a bunch of shit on our iPhone voice messenger and we're like talking back and forth. Sometimes we do that classic vocalization where you just send a text that goes ba ba diga ba da ba. We send that through, and yeah, the thing I'm most proud of with this record though is Alex stepped the bar up lyrically, which was really rad, and then his performance of it was really rad because he's quite the live performer.
I know.
So our concern as a band was that would we be able to capture that, because there's no lightbox for you to smash, but. He did. He captured it really well, which brought us up even better as we were like recording scratch tracks for him, and it just we were able to show our songwriting stuff, but also there's lots of elements on the record where we're straight up just jamming. You hear an open jam, you hear the imperfections in the strokes of the guitar and stuff, and that was left on purpose. We wanted you to see this is like back to Raw, that Pantera-esque thing of the tape or whatever, like it's a it's a real recording. It's not just copied and pasted all over the place.
No, and in regards to Wendigo, the play out at the end, that just is there a reason you let it play out for so long? The ending of the song?
Yeah, I mean originally like
was that one of the jams you're referring to?
100%. It was when we recorded it, we'd already been playing it live for a couple of years, and what we did live was we would usually use that as a section to change tunings, where like Ryan, the bass player, or myself would drop out, quickly change tuning, come in, and then he would come in and we'd go into the rest of the set. So it was a cool way to not just have these like harsh breaks in all the set lists. But then when we were jamming it in the record studio, we were like, hey, let's just go. Like, who cares? Like, it's our record. Who cares?
Yeah.
And it ends up being like, I think it's like a 3-minute jam or something absurd.
It was. I'm like, whoa, this is going on. It was cool. Don't get me wrong. It was cool. I was just curious as to why.
And like what you hear is us actually just jamming. It's not like we copied and pasted to make it longer so we could get extra minutes or whatever on the time code. It was more like, let's just actually go at this. This is what we all do. Let's just jam. Let's just crush this, man. So yeah.
So getting back to the touring, so the album comes out on the 20th.
Yeah.
But touring is non-existent. How are you guys coping with this? How are you guys, because normally, as a billion times it's been said now, like normally a band follows up with a tour after the release of an album, or even prior to the release of an album, they'll go out and tour and they'll be trying to push the album sales. But now with COVID, any plans to do like a live stream or?
We're talking about a live stream and a couple of crazy ideas that we want to do because we're from Vancouver, as you know. So Devin Townsend set the bar for live streams, man.
He really has, yeah.
So we're talking about stuff like that. We're going to work with City Zero probably again on it if they'll have us. I'm sure I've annoyed them by now. So we'll see. We'll see from there. And we're trying to figure it out because like we're not a band that sits and dwells on the awful shit. Yeah, COVID's awful. We can't tour. That sucks. There was a bunch of European tours that were thrown at us the second we signed because over there they were still doing live shows and whatnot, and they were cool. Like Pestilence was one, I think, or Pathology was another one. It was pretty dope. It was going to be fun, but we're not stupid. We're going to do what's safe and in everybody's best interest. We got families. We want to be healthy. We want to be smart about this. And frankly, we want to be doing this for 20 more years. I don't want to, do something ridiculous.
Yeah.
So yeah,
that makes sense.
Take it day by day, I guess.
That's all you can do, right?
Yeah.
Anything else you'd like to add, bud?
I love you sexually.
Okay, this is awkward. Just like that.
Oh, this is that part of the interview. Okay.
No. This isn't a corporate meeting.
Man, it's always fun to hang with you, man. I appreciate you taking the time to make me feel like some rock star.
Well, you are. And you're going to be big. I'm going to say, hi, new DJ Win.
Well, I don't know about that, but...
How do you like doing the reaction videos? Because you're so comfortable on the camera now. At first you seemed awkward, but now you seem a bit more. See a bit more comfortable in your settings.
Yeah, it's just fun because like I started that whole thing because I wanted to talk about music, and my wife is sick of it. She just couldn't like. She's like, I'm not a musician. Do you go to give a shit? I don't care. Like, yeah, but did you hear that cool polyrhythm there and the modulation? No, I didn't. I heard the word and it was awesome. Now you've ruined it. so
now
I just started.
You found your tribe.
Yeah, and I didn't think it would get that big. I don't know, man. It got nuts pretty quick. So
what was your last count? Do you remember your last count?
I think it was somewhere like 28,000, I think.
Wow, that's huge.
Insane. I know one of my videos hit like 250,000. That was just stupid.
Wow.
I don't know. I'm just grateful. I just keep riding the wave, bro. I don't know what's going on, but I ain't gonna poke the bear. And
they say nice guys finish last, huh?
Well, again, I'm quick to finish, as my wife would point out, but
the drums are right behind you.
It's all penis jokes here at the Temple Music Academy.
And how is the Academy doing? You're still doing the virtual you're doing the online touring as well?
Yeah, we're doing both. So we do have in-person lessons still going on. We just rock the masks and disinfect and stuff. That's still going strong. I'm very grateful, man. People like what we're doing, and I'm so grateful to the city of Abbotsford because I feel like Abbotsford gets left out a lot. Like people, they're like, I want to go to Vancouver, or I want to go to like Langley, or I want to go to Seattle. They don't just bypass this. I was hell bent on, because we've had offers to move to Vancouver and start it there, but no, man, I like Abbotsford. I don't want to leave it out, man. It's been very good to me, and the community here likes what we're doing, it feels like, and I like the community, so I'm not going nowhere.
That's all good. It all blends together then.
Yeah. Like cheap wine and good olive oil.
Alrighty then. Always a pleasure talking to you, my friend.
It is too, man. It's been way too long, and this time I've got pants on. And
yeah, you weren't wearing any McDonald's that last time.
I wasn't. Well, somebody asked for a quarter pound of Deej. That's just what happens. What the hell is wrong with me?
I'm not sure. It's a good thing we're not live.
Oh, maybe we should be at this point. I don't know, man.
Maybe, yeah.
Did
somebody spike your drink?
Yeah. This is me sober. That's the problem.
Oh, okay.
That's the problem. Killer, man. Well, dude, right. I really appreciate you hanging out with me, man. That was cool.
Not a problem, my friend.
Awesome, dude.
I'm so happy for you guys. I wish you guys nothing but more success, and hopefully this will just elevate your careers, and things will just get better and better.
Thanks, man.
Now you're no longer at that point in your career where everybody's saying no. You got the go ahead. So if things clear up for next year, who knows? They might push you out on tour, and you might be leading some big tours.
Man, fingers crossed. We're just so grateful. Honestly, we just kind of put our heads down. We just worked our asses off for a long time, right? We didn't pay attention to nothing, and so it's so crazy to see it coming out now. We just hope you guys all like the record when it comes out.
I can vouch for it. I do.
Yay!
And I know for certain that the intensity that is shown in your videos, you guys match live, because I've seen you guys live.
I guess, yeah, you're a testament to witness, my friend.
That's right. Yeah. All right. Peace out.
Thanks so much, man. We'll talk to you soon.
You bet. Take care.